welcome to the interview by Next Big Brand. I am Smriti Sharma, and I'm delighted to have Mr. Ankit Jain, the CEO of My Operator, with us. So, firstly, thank you very much for taking out time and addressing the audience of NBB. Thank you.
Thanks, Smriti. Thanks for having me here.
It's a pleasure. Thank you. So, my first question to you is, if you go back in time, your journey with My Operator, what are the first thoughts that come to your mind when you look back to the journey? And how did the idea come to you, and how has the business evolved?
Sure. So, with me, it was not a straightforward journey. And, My Operator wasn't the straightforward what I, thought I'll do. I was surely, bitten by this entrepreneurship bug. And way back in college, I kind of decided not to go for campus placement and join a startup to work with. I worked for a startup for 1.5 years, and then, decided to start my own venture. The initial idea was different, though it was around voice communication as well, but it was different. And that idea failed quickly. So, I decided not to give up and kind of move around something, but wasn't sure what I'm really looking for. So we started doing services and offering telephony services to a few businesses around so we can sustain ourselves. I used to live in a apartment 3 BHK where like one room was my bedroom and two was office. So we kind of rented out that place and so had to kind of just get the cost done. And after a year and a half in even services, that's when we realized that number one, this particular problem, talking to businesses that we are already offering as a service, we kind of went back to them, we asked why they're using it, we understood the gaps, and there were, I think, around 20 odd customers who were using our services. So, talking to those 20 customers were really insightful. We understood a gap in the market. So, how we thought about this was we saw what is the primary use case, people are using it for. And then we analyzed, why they're using it. What are the alternatives? So fundamentally, what we realized was there was 80% of communication in India was happening over, phone calls. It was not email, it is not chat. People still prefer to pick up call and, just talk to the business. And businesses didn't had a proper system, especially, SMBs to cater to all those call communication. And, what primarily businesses were doing was focusing on individuals' phone number. People, the team members, the employees used to dial from the phone numbers and no records, no audits, nothing. You do not even know how to improve your customer service. And we thought, if this is so big as a communication, why aren't businesses using, this kind of system? So first thing we realized was there was nothing as a simple tool which can be used by small businesses. And understand from the perspective, these SMBs are not very tech savvy. These are, these are good at businesses, but they're not tech savvy. They weren't adopting technology and they didn't know what are the alternatives or move to chat or something. We feel that if we are able to bring a tool which can help businesses organize their call communication, which at the end, will help their sales and support process, this can be huge. We quickly did a pilot, so first pilot was like created a presentation around the benefits, this is what we're offering, and started going back to the new set of customers. Very interestingly, we had like 15 paying customers before even the product was ready. So that gave us the thought that, oh, this is the right direction. This is what really business needs, because SMBs were paying before the product and on the presentation was something unique. So we immediately decided to bring the MVP into the market. We brought it like just very basic 2-pager SaaS application, and we rolled it out to market. The very first month, we had another like 15 new customers. So we were so positive and so charged up then, oh, this is, what we wanted to do. And, for a few months, we were, in fact, 2 years, we were selling just the MVP. And we started developing the product again from the scratch, because we now believe that this is big. And why don't we, build it for the future and not just an MVP? But the problem was so deep, we were able to give the SMBs the MVP and still we're making money. So kind of sustaining ourselves, and we're able to fund that whole growth. 2015, when we launched the full-fledged product, and we never had to then turn back, because this was so deeply analyzed with the customer that this is the real problem set what businesses need. There were no alternative solutions in the market available for them. And if they have to improve sales and support, they have to improve the communication part of it. And this is how it emerged.
That sounds very nice. And it's amazing to know you had your first 15 customers even before the product was born. That's
Yep, yeah.
amazing. So I was coming to that, how is it building a bootstrapped company? And what are the best practices one needs to adopt,
Sure. So, number one, we have to understand being bootstrapped doesn't mean being slow. Being bootstrap, it means you prioritize things ruthlessly. You know what are important. You follow the concept of lean startup. You focus on which are fundamentals and not maybe 5 things or 10 things. And when you focus on something which is really important and keep doubling on that really helps. Often when you have a VC funding with you, you are able to do a lot of things quickly. But when you are focused on something very deeply, you are still able to do it, and with a full vision that you have, and you still scale the business if you focus on that particular, not just get diverted by 10 things that you doing in the business.
So focusing on your product and the core thing. The COVID situation changed the game for everyone. The focus shifted completely.
Yeah.
So how was your business affected from COVID? Yeah?
So, the very first thing when this COVID thing break out, the first thing it kind of COVID told us on the face was what a black swan event mean. Before this whole thing, we used to read about it, black swan events. We used to understand from the management perspective, but there was no real strategy around it or no real thought around it. And there was so much of unclarity in the month of March. What is going to happen? How are we going to work remotely without having an office? We were a real brick and mortar, startup, which was like going to office every day, working from there, and no work from home kind of scenario, etc. And when this happened, this was like so much of fuzziness around everything. So we clearly understood that our job for next 2 months is just to talk to people. We were talking ruthlessly internally. We were talking to our customers. We were talking to our vendors, everybody, because this crisis was all around, and everybody was in a fuzzy situation. So talking or communicating what is the real ground situation really helps. Now externally, what was changing was few of the sectors were deeply impacted. You talk about hospitality, you talk about food and beverages, restaurants, even e-commerce businesses for that matter. They were impacted badly. And almost assume 30% of our customers pretty much stopped paying anything for that period of time. So we were really in a tough situation back then. But the good part which was happening was we immediately saw a surge in new customer acquisition, because when businesses were moving to remote or work from home kind of situation, they needed a system to manage their call communication. Earlier, traditional SMBs, they have an office, they know how their salespeople are dealing with, how they're talking, etc. They can guide. But everybody remote, how do you measure anything? And that was a question. Primary communication being call, they needed something, a call management system where My Operator actually came into picture. And we immediately saw a surge, but to kind of compensate the immediate loss, it took us like 2 or 3 months of time initially. But I think we believe this, and we have started seeing this whole impact is it could have damaged initially, but if you see from the digitization perspective, especially the SMB digitization, it has actually accelerated the whole digitization, and the overall impact as a digitization will be very high in India in coming years. This is not a speed I'm talking about. This is the acceleration which COVID has given in terms of digitization. And this is going to help every, digital business in India. Number one. Number two, internally, so the toughest situation was how do you manage your own team, when working remote? Interestingly, I was primarily focusing on this internal thing, and my co-founder was focusing more on external side of it. So internally, started communicating and understanding, different challenges we're facing in remote, etc. And by just June, we were clear that this is the path ahead. And July, we announced internally, look, we're not going to go back to office ever again. This is going to be a remote first company. So this is so much of a change from just, January, say 2020 to July 2020, where we were not a single work from home request used to be accepted at My Operator, to complete remote setup. And we felt like this is so much of a work-life balance to team members. This is so much of a advantage as a team, because you're able to communicate all over the digital platforms, chat and all. Even when we were office, we were very much relying on digital systems to manage our own internal communication. But the moment it moved to remote, the whole paradigm shifted, and we saw it as a so much of advantage that we decided we'll kind of retain in this direction, that let's use as one of the gift COVID has given us. And let's not go back. Let's just focus on this, and let's be a full remote company.
I'm sure your employees are very happy. Your team is very happy with this change, working remotely from home. But apart from this, of being the first remote company fully, what are the transformations that your business has, the lessons that your business has taken and absorbed completely?
Sure. So, one of the key things that we have learned from this is, always be prepared for the downsides even to come. Earlier, because we were, fast growing company and bootstrap, so we never focused on kind of, saving money or making profits and saving it for such crisis. We always were, running on the thin line that we have to keep investing in growth and growth only. But now we are more reliant on, we should not be very, biased around growth, and not really understand such any black swan event possibly coming in the future. So we're kind of more prepared around it. We're more strategized around it now. And even as a transformation, what we saw was, how the system has a different use case of remote even to our customers. Earlier, we were focusing not on the remote part, or not on, how different businesses can communicate remote. We were just focusing on how you can improve your sales, how you can improve your service. Now we're even talking about how can you, manage your team while your teams are remote. So this messaging change is even a transformation that we have seen, in last year. And moreover, now, earlier, we used to compete with traditional systems, on-premise, EPBX systems and all. Now that whole thing has gone away from the picture, because businesses have realized that any such moment again, your digital system or a cloud-based system, you are always ready to look into another such kind of events in future.
Yes.
That is it.
That's it. Mm-hmm. So, in one of your interviews earlier, you had said that India is a trust deficit market. Do you still believe that? And how difficult has been to gain the trust of the Indian market?
Sure. So number one, I'll set the context right. So this trust deficit is very much into the business, the brand to consumer relation, and nothing with, any other sort of. So, India is a very trust deficit when it comes to trusting the brands. And, if you see around, any consumer when dealing with a new brand will always start with a mistrust first. It'll always be, what if something goes wrong? What if it's not, do that? And that's that has been one of the retractors, when people were trying to adopt online payments and etc. Because people weren't really trusting the brands. If they pay online, things will be fine, etc. But the best part, if you see this whole digital movement which is happening in India, the India digital paradigm. Moreover, the newer generation, as they're moving into the workforce more, as they're moving into the digital, decision makings more, even at the family level, this is changing. And the newer generation are pretty much very different from the the older generation, and they are not really that trust deficit as the older generation was. And hence, this is changing fast. But, on the same side, as a brand, as a different businesses, especially the digital businesses, the new generation businesses, we have to take it as an important responsibility that how do we change this? How do we ensure that we do not really lose on the trust of the consumer? This was one of the key challenge when we decided like 5 years back that we'll have the total inside sales and will not sell to SMBs by going on feet and etc. Primary reason why we did that, because we believe that's the only way as a bootstrap startup we would be able to sell across India. Otherwise, office being in Delhi will be limited only to Delhi customers. But this was not really what we wanted. We wanted to serve across India, and we wanted a way. So inside sales immediately came as a way out. But the challenge was how do businesses across would trust? how do businesses across would trust around it? And the two as a brand can build the trust in the business owners without really meeting them face to face. And we started doing a lot of practices, a lot of process, a lot of standardization we focus upon, which would evidently lead to this trust. And once this trust was evident, we started seeing the immediate benefit in terms of our sales cycle, our sales conversion, etc. And this has this is the whole effort is still continuing today. We're still identifying areas where we can lose trust and where we should focus on retaining the trust of the customer.
Right. I completely believe and agree with what you're saying, because I am a very big loyalist to all the brands I use. So much so that I had problems in shifting to Jio when there was no signal. I said, I'll stay with Airtel, but I will not shift. So definitely we as Indians are very loyal to our brands. So this brings me to my last question. What does the future for My Operator hold? And as customers, as your clients, what should they look forward to?
Sure. So, when we ask this question internally, we always start with what SMB should look up to us for the future is what we, should ask first. What we can really help SMBs with in terms of, helping them do better sales and better service through communication. And what we are doing right now is very early on in terms of technology. We just moved the old traditional EPBX system on cloud and made it so simple that any business can use it. But we haven't gone deep into cognitive part of it. The whole world is emerging towards the AI, ML, and, getting deep into cognitive abilities. And I think, now India is getting more and more ready, for this cognitive tools, etc. What for businesses, and imagine, someday as a business owner, you really can, without maybe listening to calls, what are the areas in your sales communication or support communication you can improve. For a SMB, who cannot afford a quality team or a sales trainers or support trainers, this can be a real useful thing. And that's what we believe we're going to change. Our ultimate mission is to help businesses do better sales and better service. And we're good at technology, so we're kind of building technology for them so they can do it even better. Right now, we help them with telephony so they can manage organized calls and can see insights. But now it's a time we have to get deeper in it and offer further solution to SMBs. We as a company strongly believe that any economy, any country is driven primarily by SMB. And this is very evident in India as well, more than any country around. And if we are really helping SMBs around, we are really helping it, not just, certain companies, but we are helping the whole society to grow. And that's what, we still look for in the future.
Great. Thank you very much for your time. And I'm sure you're going to help the entire society grow. It was a pleasure interviewing you. I really appreciate your taking out time for our audience.
Thanks, Smriti. This is really wonderful. I really enjoyed the questions, and thanks for having me here and having this whole discussion in the first place.
Thank you so much.